Hello, loves. Right now, there's this energy in the collective that feels like a lot of things are coming to a head. And I'm seeing it on a lot of different levels in the overarching, bigger planetary collective. It feels like a lot of like the narcissistic empath energies are really having a light shined on them. And when I touch into it, it really feels like I said, things are reaching ahead to where it's just not sustainable to continue in the ways that humanity has been operating. And that's why so many things are coming to light and collapsing. I'm also seeing this directly correlated to the divine feminine, divine masculine collective shifts as well. And many of the feminines right now might be finding themselves almost in another cocoon like phase of stillness, receiving downloads, gaining clarity, yet not really having any energy or oomph to follow through on those right now. But what was coming through in my member video yesterday is like those downloads coming in right now are seeding for harvest in September and October. So hopefully that'll give you a little bit of hope that these aren't really far into the future, and the things that are getting worked on right now are seeding for pretty soon. But right now, there's really not a ton of energy to support taking a lot of action. Obviously, if you have the energy and the guidance, go for it. But this is more for those of you who are not feeling that energy to support it just yet. It's still getting worked on in the energies, but it's really looking like things are going to be coming together. And with this, you may also find you're clearing very, very deep, old physical and emotional energies. So, like I said, there's that like empath narcissist energy that's coming up. We spoke about this in my most recent video where we were talking about childhood memories coming up. So, really clearing out those energies of ridicule or self ridicule, self harm, ways that we beat ourselves up or put pressure on ourselves, and really replacing that with the self compassion and kindness and nurturing and replenishment. So that feels really important at this time. And I have been seeing and speaking to people who are feeling a lot of the emotion coming up, but again, also a lot of the physical ailments, discomforts connected to this, everything from like the brain fog and the blurry eyes to sore throats and congested ears, achy bodies. Of course, take care of yourself however you need to. But if traditional things aren't supportive, know that some of this it could be really part of that evolutionary energy, the ascension energy that as we actually embody into our cells, as we come more deeply home to our bodies, it actually drums up and kicks out what can no longer stay in there. The more we ask for that highest organic timeline, the more we're coming into alignment with our true health and core soul blueprint, we come into those energies of regeneration and replenishment. And so just obviously take care of yourself however you need to. It feels most important that whatever is going on, that you just honor what it is in the moment. Don't try to make it something that it's not. And you may notice that when you release the emotional attachment to things needing to be a certain way at a certain time, you actually move through the emotional weight and the physical symptoms a lot faster. Really replenish, resource, take care of yourself however you're needing to. Your body is going to build more and more trust with you when it knows you are actually listening to what it is telling you. And so, really, what I'm seeing, what might be coming up with the physical symptoms, I feel guided to have you guys check in with this if you're having a lot of physical symptoms, to check in with your body and ask, Is this times where I didn't listen to you in the past, where I suppressed the expression, where I didn't listen to the fact that my body was exhausted and in pain, and I kept pushing and pushing and pushing? Now is this stillness and this quiet and this silent time a place where my body actually gets to purge all the pain from the past, the places where I ignored myself and what my body actually needed, where I overrode that for survival. This is very important information to drop into and rewire, because this is the difference between pushing ourselves in activating and trying to live from a survival state, or actually becoming deeply creative and safe to be able to create and build our lives from a state of thriving and flourishing. This, when you are in these moments, each time you choose to replenish and rejuvenate and nurture and care for yourself, you are rewiring, surviving, and moving into a thriving state of mind. Okay. This is immediately connecting into this sacred feminine embodiment. And for those of you who have been noticing that you really want to step into that, but you've also been a bit afraid to fully do that, that is exactly the pocket that I'm talking about. It's because your inner masculine or your inner energies are still on hyper vigilant survival mode and wanting to protect you, right? So when you're alone or you're feeling these symptoms, the choices that you make in each moment and how you care for yourself and how you hold compassion for yourself, in when you let yourself rest and replenish, you are actually embodying into the sacred feminine energies. You're choosing your sacred feminine embodiment by no longer beating yourself up about where you are, about what your body is going through, and how deeply your body has been used and abused, even by you, and how you are rewriting that and no longer agreeing to do this. This is a foundation of sacred feminine embodiment. This is exactly why I am doing the Safe to Be Me series, because that point of one foot in and one foot out is where you have been afraid, most likely, to fully feel safe to be all of who you are. In living in a society that has taught us that our value is based on our capacity to constantly be in survival and go and go and go and constantly be doing, which is the opposite of the feminine receptive replenishment energy. There is some time of rewiring that needs to take place. And in those first two sessions, this is the exact energy that has presented in a deeper way than I have ever worked before. It's a deep replenishment, a deep rewiring, clearing out those voices in your head that said that we were not good enough, allowing the body to be safe enough to actually come home to itself. And so I'll put everything in the pinned comment for those of you that want to go into it. But again, this is up to you to make the decision to choose yourself, to choose your safety, to choose your body, to allow what you are purging right now, the emotions and the physical symptoms. And instead of seeing them as something's wrong with you and that you're sick, perhaps you are actually purging all the illness and pain and discomfort that you held in when you abandoned and self betrayed in the past. And now you have the opportunity to actually let those parts of yourself purge and come into that highest alignment of the organic energy, allowing yourself to replenish all the way back to the beginning. Okay. And this feels important. What's coming in to mirror this is there is a shift happening within the divine masculine collective energies. You may feel it in your inner masculine, that as the feminines are embodying into this part of themselves that they once felt so unsafe to embody into, is actually causing the masculine to be aware that the feminine is not placing all of their focus on the masculine anymore. Because this exact pocket that we are talking about, that choice to move in fully into thriving for yourself and embody into all of who you are, is that turning point where you're no longer depending or looking for the masculine to show up in order for you to feel safe to be all of who you are. And I'm not just talking about providing for yourself and surviving. This is about stepping all the way into all of you right here, right now, all of your aspects, all of your energy, all of your capacity. And of course, I say this is a process. It's the intention to embody into all of who you are and allowing it to unfold with space and grace. What's coming up is that the inner masculine and the external masculine are feeling anxious about this because for so long, the feminine allowed that part of the system to be in control. And now the feminine is saying, no, we are moving out of survival. We are going to embody into thriving. And this is triggering the masculines to start looking at what they have going on in a completely different way because their security and their safety and their comfort was stemming a lot from the fact that the feminine was remaining stable in a certain bandwidth of energy. But as the feminine says, I'm not going to stay in that energy anymore. I am going to fully embody, no matter what that means. This is what shifts the dynamic with divine masculine. When you're no longer holding the connection up, when you're no longer attempting to process what is the masculine's to process, when you're no longer focusing an ounce of your attention on what the masculine is doing in their physical life, yes, you may feel the connection. Most likely you are. You've accepted the connection, but you're also not entertaining what it is or what it has been if it's not showing up with the capacity to thrive and flourish. And this, my loves, is exactly your embodiment. No concern about what the masculine is doing, except for in ways that you're receiving energy and information that's still supporting your evolution, your embodiment. Again, you may feel divine masculine pulling on you a bit. You may feel their anxious energy. You may feel a slight tug to the old patterns. And you may notice, like, I have no desire to do that. Where is that coming from? That is the old essence of the past connection resolving out. Resolving out as long as you don't keep entertaining it. Okay. And this feels important. And now I feel guided to get some cards for you. I would love to hear from you if this is resonating with you. I know that it did resonate with my members yesterday. Of course, we went a little bit deeper into the energies. If any of you want to connect in with that, but this is the evolution. This is like where we are headed. This is divine feminine leading the way by being fully responsible for their own embodiment. Lost compass, getting back to integrity. And so what's coming up is where the feminine is feeling a bit lost because of the shift in the connection, but also feeling excited and inspired to drop into the deeper levels of your own integrity in your own full capacity and embodiment, and actually making that choice to fully take the reins of all of your own energy. And this, again, is inspiring the masculine to notice where they have been codependent with the feminine and shoring up their own inner feminine energies, or the realizations again of how much they were dependent on the feminine to hold those energies. And the feminines are just at a point where it's just not possible anymore to hold that the way that they were and also simultaneously grow to their own potential. You both masculine and feminine in their full potential are no longer entertaining the codependent energies of the twin flame divine counterpart connection. You've been evolving through the codependent aspects. And yes, you can work with the interdependent energies. That's exactly what I'm describing when I'm saying you're aware of the connection, you accept the connection, you're accepting the mirrors and the lessons that it's offering you, but you're not searching for it. You're not calling on the counterpart to fix things for you. You're embodying into that for yourself and allowing the connection to be whatever it's going to be. And this internal integrity is creating a deeper integrity within the connection. I'm guided to get 3 tarot for this. Oh, yes. And for those of you that were connecting with the forgiveness energy, I did remember I have a couple forgiveness sessions that were already done on my site, and I will put those in the pinned comments as well. Continuing to embody into all of who you are, your strength. This is the opportunity at hand right now. This is the feminine's opportunity to finally, fully agree to take the reins of all of their energy, all of their power, all of their creation essence, and just allow the connection to be what it is and what it's going to be. This is a very, very powerful place to be. Peaceful, strong, soft, silent, yet vibrating in a strength that's incomparable to anything you've ever done before. This is, to me, this is feeling like where you're letting those shadows continue to purge. You're letting the grief process, you're allowing the past pain physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually to drain out. You're allowing those old thoughts, those old words, those old limiting beliefs to drain out, to complete out, so that you can move forward out of heaviness and the darkness, moving forward completely out of that survival mode. And this is like, excuse me, this really feels like important to allow what's purging and what's replenishing so you have the energy to fully pull yourself out or allow yourself to be fully pulled out divinely. That's what's coming through. I feel like now something wants to come through for the masculines. Okay, 3 came. So we have the Page of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Six of Wands. This is connecting in with where the masculines are feeling confused and they're really noticing the shift in the feminine, and they're noticing the space where she's no longer, or he, where the feminine is no longer residing. And it's creating a space for them to start to have to fill in the gaps for themselves. They're noticing where they're not feeling themselves anymore. It's interesting because it's coming in a way where so often the feminines were focused on the whole connection and the masculines were focused on themselves, right? And what that did is the feminine and the masculine were both focused on the masculine. And so the energy was all filled in. Now that the feminine is standing on their own, focused fully on themselves in a way that they never have been before, that energy, your energy, is no longer filling in the gaps for the masculine. And they're realizing, oh, something is missing. Where did I go? And what's happening is it's opening the space for their higher self, for their inner feminine. They are starting to look and realize it's different. Something's different in me. And this is supporting their next levels of embodiment and ultimately their own levels of embodiment and victory. But this is happening. This potential is available because the feminine is completely in their own lane. I know this is information that you have all received and probably deeply understood. You've also probably gone through layers of this process of letting go of the connection in the way that it was, deeper states of surrender, deeper states of acceptance. And then finally, over time, you eventually reach this state where all of those results come together. And the only thing left for you to do is fully embody into you, fully embody into your sacred feminine essence and embodiment completely. And this is what we're here for. So, again, for any of you who want support with this, my one on one schedule is open. You're welcome to browse those pre recorded sessions that I have on my website. I think there's over 50. There's also series that go deeper into certain topics. And right now, if you feel guided to go into those feelings and addressing where you haven't felt safe to be you, and you would like that deeper support for your nervous system and for your physical and emotional bodies, the Safe to Be Me series is in process of running right now as we speak. So all of that will be in the pinned comments. And I appreciate all of you, your presence, your connection, your reciprocity, and really honoring the depth of what you've been going through to get to this place. And like I've said to you before, this is actually a really exciting time. I know right now with this 1 foot in, 1 foot out processing energy, it can feel really heavy and uncomfortable. But this really does feel to me overall where a big, massive collective shift is occurring, not only for you, for the divine masculine and feminine collective, but for the planetary collective overall, because each and every one of us who chooses the new, the highest timeline, we're pulling our energy out of the old timelines, which helps the old things that are not supportive for the overall collective, they start to collapse because this is how we build the new. One moment, one breath, one step at a time with our own embodiment. All right, my loves. I hope you have a beautiful day and you found this helpful. Take care.